All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive. We love to just really kind of dig into some fascinating medical topics.
Absolutely.
And today we're going to be talking about something that's uh, incredibly important when we're trying to diagnose and manage rheumatoid arthritis.
Okay.
And that is
Right.
CCP antibodies.
Yeah. CCP antibodies.
Now, I know that sounds very...
Cyclic Citrullinated peptide antibodies.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I always need my backup on these long medical terms. But it's CCP antibodies for short.
Right.
But I know that sounds very scientific and maybe a little intimidating, but trust me.
Absolutely.
This is going to be a fascinating conversation, and we're going to break it down in a way that's really easy to understand.
For sure.
So imagine you're a doctor,
Okay.
and you have a patient come into your office, and they are complaining of pain, swelling in their joints.
Oh, boy.
They're just not feeling good.
Yeah.
And so you as a doctor are thinking, could this be rheumatoid arthritis or could this be something else? You got to figure this out.
Yeah.
Got to solve the mystery.
So that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be looking at excerpts from some medical texts that talk about these CCP antibodies. And we're really going to try to understand, what role do they play in diagnosing RA?
Okay.
And how can they also help us manage it long term? So let's just start off with the basics. What are CCP antibodies?
Well, like you said before, it stands for Cyclic Citrullinated Peptide Antibodies.
Oh, right.
It's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful.
But basically what it is it's this protein that's found in the blood of people with rheumatoid arthritis. And it's kind of like a signal.
Okay.
It's like, hey, something's going on here.
Yeah.
And it's very specific to RA.
Okay, so it's like a little red flag.
Yeah, it's a red flag for sure. And the way it works is this process called citrullination.
Okay.
Which is kind of complicated, but I'll try to break it down.
Yeah, please do.
So basically, you have these proteins in your body called arginine.
And they get converted into another type of protein called citrulline.
Oh.
This happens normally. It's just a regular process in your body.
Right.
But in people with rheumatoid arthritis, this process gets kind of messed up.
Right.
And the immune system starts attacking these citrullinated proteins.
So it's like the immune system is...
It gets confused.
Yeah, it's like it's attacking itself.
It's attacking itself, exactly. So it produces these antibodies to attack these citrullinated proteins.
Okay.
And those antibodies are the CCP antibodies.
Gotcha. So that's kind of where they come from.
Yeah.
It's like this process that happens naturally in the body, but then it goes awry and the immune system...
goes haywire.
Yeah.
It's all confused.
It's like friendly fire.
Yeah, exactly. Friendly fire. It's attacking its own team.
So why are these CCP antibodies so important when we're trying to diagnose RA?
Well, it's because, like I said, it's very specific to RA.
Okay.
Other types of arthritis, they don't really have these antibodies. So if we find these antibodies in your blood, it's a pretty good indication that you might have rheumatoid arthritis.
Okay. And you said it's...
like a clue.
It's like a clue, almost like a fingerprint at a crime scene.
Exactly. Yeah, like a fingerprint. We found the culprit.
So how accurate is this test? I mean, is it like 100%?
Well, no test is 100%.
Okay.
But this one's pretty darn good.
Okay.
It's like 95 to 98% accurate.
Wow. So
in identifying RAA.
That's pretty high.
It's pretty high, yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
So it's not a guarantee.
Right.
But it's a pretty strong indicator.
It's a very strong indicator that something's going on.
So let's say I'm a patient and I go to the doctor and they say, okay, we need to...
run some tests.
Yeah, we need to order this CCP test. What can I expect?
It's a simple blood test.
Okay.
They'll just take a little bit of blood from your arm.
Okay.
And then they'll send it to the lab.
All right.
And the lab will analyze it using a method called ELISA. Yeah. It's kind of a complicated name, but basically what it does is it measures the amount of CCP antibodies that are in your blood.
So they give you like a number.
Yeah, they'll give you a number.
Okay.
And that number is important because...
that tells us something.
it tells us what level of CCP antibodies you have.
So is there like a certain level?
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, now we're concerned.
Exactly. So there are different ranges
of
CCP levels, and each range kind of means something different.
All right, so walk us through these ranges.
So if your level is below 20 units per milliliter...
below 20?
Yeah. It's probably unlikely that you have RA.
Okay.
But if it's between 20 and 39...
20 and 39.
Yeah. Then it's possible that you have RA. But we need to do more tests
Okay.
to confirm.
So it's like a maybe.
It's a maybe.
All
If
right.
it's 40 to 59,
40 to 59.
then it's more likely that you have RA.
Okay.
And if it's 60 or above,
60 or above.
yeah, then it's a very high probability that
Yeah.
you have RA.
So the higher the number,
The higher the number,
the more concerned we are.
the more likely it is that you have RA.
Yeah. Yeah, like the volume's going up.
Yeah.
It's like the alarm bells are ringing.
The alarm bells are getting louder.
Okay, so these CCP levels, they can help us diagnose RA.
Yeah,
They're a clue for us.
it's a clue.
But can they tell us anything else about the disease?
Well, yeah, they actually can.
Really?
So studies have shown
Okay.
that people with higher CCP levels,
Okay.
they tend to have more severe RA.
So the higher the number, the worse.
Yeah, the worse it could be.
The worse their RA might be.
Exactly.
Uh,
So they might have more joint damage,
Okay.
and the disease might progress faster.
So knowing that information as a doctor, that would be really helpful.
Very helpful.
Because if you know that someone has a really high CCP level,
Right.
you might be more aggressive with their treatment.
Exactly. Yeah. You want to catch it early.
Yeah, you want to try to slow it down as much as possible
Absolutely.
before too much damage is done.
Prevent that damage.
Yeah.
If you can.
So it's not just about diagnosis. It's also about
It's about prognosis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
treatment,
Yeah.
how we're going to treat
Gio,
them.
are there any downsides to this test? I mean, it sounds like it's pretty accurate.
It is pretty accurate.
It can give us a lot of information.
Yeah.
But are there any limitations?
Well, like I said before, no test is perfect.
Okay.
So there's always a chance of a false positive,
Okay.
which means that you might have a high CCP level,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't actually have RA.
Okay, so that can happen.
It can happen.
So we can't just rely on the test alone.
Exactly. You have to look at the big picture.
Okay.
So you have to look at the patient's symptoms,
Yeah.
their medical history,
Mm-hmm.
other test results.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got to put all the pieces of the puzzle together.
Yeah, it's like being a detective.
It is like being a
You
detective.
got to look for all the clues.
All the clues, not just one.
So this has been a really fascinating deep dive.
Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff into these CCP antibodies
Yeah.
and how they can help us diagnose and manage RA. But I'm curious, are there any other,
Future implications?
future implications or like
What's next?
what's next for these little antibodies?
Well, researchers are always looking for new ways to use these antibodies.
Okay.
And one really exciting possibility is using them to predict who might develop RA
Oh, wow.
before they even have symptoms.
Before they even have symptoms, that would be incredible.
That would be amazing. Because then you could start treatment early
Yeah.
and potentially prevent or
Yeah.
slow down the disease.
That would be a game changer.
It would be a game changer. It would be huge.
So that's kind of like the holy grail right now.
Yeah, that's the hope for the future of
Yeah.
RA research.
Wow. So there's still so much to learn about these
Absolutely.
CCP antibodies. But what we do know is that they're incredibly powerful
Very powerful.
and they can really help us in this fight against rheumatoid arthritis.
For sure.
So listeners, I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of CCP antibodies. And we encourage you to keep exploring and to keep asking questions.
Always ask questions.
Because that's how we learn and that's how we make progress.
Absolutely.
So until next time, keep those questions coming. And we'll see you on the next deep dive.
See you later.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Learning Podcast, a production of metaNESTA. Remember, learning is a journey. One step, one insight, one skill at a time. We'll see you next time. Keep learning, stay curious, and as always, be awesome.